Good morning, badasses. Coach Joe from the Summit Endurance Academy here. Today's topic is feedback. So, if we want to get better at things, we need to know if we are doing things right or wrong, or more importantly, and right or wrong has some pretty strong connotations, right? But if we want to know if we are doing things the way we want to do them or the way that we don't want to do them. So, we need feedback. We need some sort of way to collect data or to measure the efficacy of what we are doing. Did we do it how we wanted to do it, or did we not do it how we wanted to do it? And that's feedback, right? So we want to work on our systems of feedback. Now, I think about feedback in a few different ways. I think about internal versus external. So is that feedback coming from inside of us, or is that feedback external coming from outside of us? And then I think about positive feedback, which is, hey, you did it right, or negative feedback, which is, hey, you did it wrong. So we, as humans, are very good at accepting internal negative feedback. We talk a lot of shit to ourselves, right? We are our harshest critics. And given the world that we are in with social media and just this constant connectedness, we are very accepting of external positive feedback. That's why there's fucking likes on Facebook, right? Like it. Oh my God, I'm so cool. Now, that's fine, but we need to, the skills that we need to have, first and foremost, we need to see feedback as data. So we need to evaluate the source and decide if that is accurate. The biggest factor into whether feedback, into whether or not you can get good feedback and use it is that feedback accurate? What's the source? Is it my mom? If your mom's telling you, love you moms, but if your mom is telling you you're good at something, it probably doesn't mean shit. She'd probably tell you that it's good, even if it's bad. So that's not an accurate feedback system, right? That's not accurate feedback. So, and the same thing with the fucking troll on the internet. You suck. Probably not accurate. They're gonna tell you suck whether or not you actually suck. So you need to evaluate your feedback systems, and you need to treat it as data to be used objectively as opposed to reacted to emotionally. Okay? That's fucking hard. I'm not saying it's easy, but that's the goal, right? Is to be able to have somebody, say you post a video on the internet of you running and somebody says like, hey, your elbow's too high. And your immediate reaction is, fuck you! You don't know. But you need to sit down and say, could that be true? Look at your elbow. Hey, maybe that's good feedback, okay? So, a couple things. So we need to evaluate and make sure that these feedback systems are good, and we need to make sure that we are taking in as much information as we can and reacting objectively or reacting emotionally tends to preclude that. So if the more objective we can be, the more likely we are to take in data if it's good. And then we also need to work on rounding out our sources of feedback. So as I said earlier, we're really good at accepting internal negative feedback and external positive feedback, right? So we need to work on those other sources. We need to work on being accepting of external negative feedback. And again, so this is tough, right? It doesn't feel good when somebody tells us we're doing it wrong. So find your good sources, whether that's a coach, whether that's a friend, whether that's a teammate, and accept that feedback. And also, as we talk about a lot on here, figure out how to accept internal positive feedback. So, this is something that fucking everybody struggles with, right? I have a note on my phone that is also a note on my computer that is what are my wins for the day? What did I do well today? Because I have trouble with that too. So, work on your feedback systems. Figure out which systems which internal, external, positive, negative, you use a lot and rely on a lot, and what you don't, and make those other ones stronger.